Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Friday Live on this Friday, May the 2nd, 2025. I'm sorry, my camera just, my live streaming software would not recognize my camera, so I just had to play around with that for a little bit. But we're here now and ready to answer any questions that you may have and spend some time with you guys. I know I was a little emotional last week due to my beautiful friend Anthony's passing. So thank you for your patience with me around that. I promise I'll be a little more together for you today. Still missing him terribly, but it doesn't feel quite as raw as it was feeling last week. So I just wanted to say a big thank you to you all for your beautiful messages and your kind words about Anthony and the impact he's had on your lives. So I really, really appreciate that so much. Hey, Roz. Hi, darling. Thank you for saying hi. Nice to see you here. Really, really nice. And for anybody else who may be just tuning in or listening, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, because I'm live on Facebook and YouTube currently right now. Thank you, Roz. He was a beautiful soul. Gorgeous man, gorgeous fella. Hi, Michelle. You're live here from Queensland Raceway. Okay, wow. All right. Okay, that sounds awesome. Good for you, Michelle. Hi, Penny. Thank you, darling. Hello, beautiful Fiona. Hello, beautiful Penny. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, it's been my daughter. I won't be able to be as long with you today because my daughter is literally at a horse competition. I've had some, I was up at the crack of dawn. We got the horses ready, dropped her off down there with the float. She's representing her school and I had a client session and a couple of other things to do. So she's down there with her horse. So I've got to fly down there because I've promised her I'll be there to watch her next round. I couldn't see the first round this morning. So I won't be able to be here as long, but I wanted to answer the questions that have been sent through and then, see if there's any way I can be of service to you guys. Michelle, my son is racing here this weekend, the Australia Superbike Championship. Okay, wow. All right. That's exciting. So that's a motorbike. I'm guessing the Australia Superbike is a motorbike. I'm guessing it's motorbikes. Wow. So you've got a son who races motorbikes. Oh my gosh, you must watch these things with your heart in your mouth. I took my daughter to a practice jumping ring last night, show jumping ring, because we don't have those where we have the horses. And I didn't even realize that I was recording her, and every time she went over a jump, I'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, good job. Uh-oh. And I had no idea. We were watching back the videos last night. She's like, Mom, listen to you. I had no idea I was saying any of those things every time because she's jumping what I would consider fairly high jumps, 1.10 m. I think that's big. And, every time she's coming towards him because her horse has this ability. She's an amazing jumper, but sometimes she just looks like she's just not even aware that there's a jump approaching. I'm like, is she even awake? Does she see this ginormous double jump that they're about to go in front of? And I think I hold my breath and I don't even realize I'm doing it. So I guess I'm saying that because if I'm doing that with my daughter in the show jumping, I can only imagine what you must be doing with your son flying around at however many hundreds of kilometers an hour they go around on those bikes. Yeah, so 15 years. Wow, 15 years of that, Michelle. That's huge. Okay, so so thank you for your kind words, and also for those of you who keep sending me messages about my book. Really, really appreciate that. You know that if you've bought a copy of my book and if you leave me a review on Amazon, I've got a beautiful free meditation that you can have. You just need to send us an email with a screenshot of your review, and we will send you out a free meditation that I created to help you connect with your human. Hi, Nicole. Hi. Thanks for saying hi. So lovely to see you here as always. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into these questions and make sure they get answered because I obviously didn't answer any last week. I was talking about beautiful Anthony, and I know some of you are waiting. So let me bring those questions up. Okay, so first question of the day. And if you have a question you want me to answer or anything at all, pop it in the comments below and I'll absolutely answer it for you. Hi, Fiona. I don't know if you can help or advise. My wife has been in limerence with a guy from her work. He didn't reciprocate the feelings for the last 3 years, but 2 weeks ago she met up and slept with a man she was speaking to online for 6 weeks. It completely destroyed me and made me question myself as a man. I'm so sorry to hear that. I really am. I believe I'm a good man, but then I feel if I was a good man and a good lover, this wouldn't be happening. She tells me she doesn't want me anymore, but when I pull away, she pulls me back enough to have hope. I really want to save my marriage, and I believe it could be rebuilt stronger if we could grow together and communicate correctly. However, my wife doesn't seem to be on board for that idea and believes the best way for her is to just find someone new. I know I can't force her or change her, but after 23 years of being together, I want to make sure I have done everything I can to revive my marriage. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I'm really sorry that you're going through that. It must be really, really painful. Really painful. Okay. It's very difficult when someone we love and have put our faith and trust in is showing affection, attention, or sleeping with someone else, especially if that's not an agreement. Some marriages that's an agreement. If that's not an agreement in your marriage, I guess, the first thing with anything like this, and this is for any of you where you feel as though you're in a situation that feels bigger than you, right? In terms of, I really want this thing, but it's dependent upon someone else, right? That's what I mean by if you're in a situation that feels bigger than you. So I really want this thing, like e.g. this gentleman, I want my marriage to work, but my wife isn't necessarily on board, or she's, doesn't say that she says that she doesn't love me anymore, or all of those things. So it feels like it's bigger than you because it's outside of your control. All right. It feels like it's bigger than you. The first thing you have to be able to do, the very first thing, is get your power back. Right. When you're in a situation where you feel disempowered, it creates an energy that is not conducive to things working out, because you've got someone who's lost their power, and that power is dependent upon another person. Okay. So someone's lost their power, and that power is dependent upon another person changing or another person's behavior. It kind of puts the relationship a bit like this. And it's almost like that chaser pursuer feeling. When we really, really want something and we chase it, and it feels like no matter how hard I chase, it just seems to be always out of reach. I can't quite get there. That's a very disempowering energy to be in. And what it will do is it will end up pushing the other person away. All right. A disempowered person, and I know it's not what you mean to do, ends up creating the opposite of what they want, because there's something about that energy that is like, it's like two magnets that repel. Okay, that's what it does. Disempowered energy trying to create change generally repels the thing that it is trying to attract. It's like the very thing that you want is the one thing that you're pushing away. And so the first thing you have to be able to do is get your power back. All right, this is very, very important. Excuse me. The first thing you have to be able to do is get your power back. Hi, Craig. Hi, Merope. Hello. Thanks for saying hi. Anyone else who wants to say hi, I really appreciate it. Because if you don't do that, you are going to create the opposite of what you want. Now, you might sit there and say, well, okay, Fiona, how do I get my power back when the thing that I want is for my wife to love me and she's saying she doesn't? Or the thing that I want is a better job, but no one will hire me. How do I get my power back? The first thing you have to understand is that your power is not dependent upon what's going on out here. That is the first thing that you have to understand. And this is probably a tricky thing for people to get their head around, right? Because we are conditioned to believe that our power depends on something out here. My well-being depends on something out here. And so And so because of that, this is what we are indoctrinated into. This is how we're brought up. This is how it all is, from childhood. If I get good grades at school, I get praise and love from my parents, for example, right? It's like my power is dependent on something out here. Now, this is just not how it works. But whilst you are under the belief or illusion that this is how it works, then you're forever going to be chasing that thing, right? So you have to get your power back. An empowered person creates a very different energy than a disempowered person. Does this make sense? Can you think about it for a second? If you've ever been in a scenario where maybe there was someone that when you were younger, someone had a crush on you, and you could feel that they were really wanting that from you, but the more intense they were, the more you were like, oh, I don't know about that. Or maybe there's something that you've really wanted in your life, and you've kind of had this, because you're not going about it in an empowered way, you're going about it in a disempowered way. It's brought this energy of desperation or neediness or fear, and it just repels. It just does. It repels the energy in another direction. So anyone getting a sense of what I mean? Because what you've got to understand, we are energetic beings, and so we're always, whether we realize it or not, and this is a sign. I'm not speaking woo-woo here. This is a scientific fact, right? We are spiritual beings, so we are engaging energetically before we are physically, which is why if you change your energy, you will change your life, and you will change the lives of the people around you. And in fact, if you're trying to create change or you're looking to create change, nothing will actually change until your energy changes, right? Once your energy changes, this is where people create profound, sustainable, and distinct change. Okay, it'll be change in the way they show up to life. It'll be a change in which the way they meet life. It'll be a profound change, and you can feel that in someone. And I've had many clients say to me, I can feel that I've changed energetically, and it is having an impact beyond anything I could have imagined with people around me. And it's something you have to experience to really truly understand. You've got to see it for yourself, experience it for yourself. And then you'll see the ripple effects of that around you. So for this gentleman, you have to get your power back first, right? It can't be you won't be able to really change your marriage, if that's even possible, from the same energy you are in right now. Okay, so that's the very first thing. You want to change something, change your energy first. All right, don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. That will just create the same energetic frequency. Yes, your energy walks into the room before you do, Merope, 100%. Deezer, we attract the energy that we are. We do. Okay. And so if you're coming after something from that place of please, oh my God, I need this. I know it may sound counterintuitive, but that is the worst place to generate anything from. Okay, the worst place. So I hope that you're hearing here that everything starts with you. Everything starts with you, and your ability to understand how you're showing up is a massive part of that. Hence why that's the first two modules I teach in Relatable. These are the first two things that I teach. So people have a good understanding of that. They feel empowered, and from there, their energy starts to change, all right? And as their energy changes, magical things happen. I've just started working with this beautiful couple, beautiful couple. And what they've been sharing with me this week has been so incredible. They have done a lot of work on their relationships. As I said, we've been in I think that they said the last therapist they saw for 18 months, and they've been working on their marriage for a long time, but they've come to me and they were separated, or they've just started, so they're currently separated, but they know they want to be together. And they've done the first couple of modules in Relatable, and in those things that they've learned, there has been profound, it's actually been quite beautiful. She said to me, Fiona, I have had so many insights. I see things so differently. She said, my biggest issue has been that I want to work things out, but I've got all of this resentment. I've got all of this pain. I've got all of this stuff going around in my head. And I know that I've got to be able to look at my husband with fresh eyes. I know that we've got to be able to connect, but what do I do with all this stuff in my head? And she said, my head is quiet. She said, my head is the quietest it has been in 25 years. How cool is that? The quietest it has been in 25 years. And she said, all that noise, all that pain, all of that resentment, she said, it's just not there. She said, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And she said, I'm the most hopeful I've felt in years. I can see a way forward. I'm still in shock, and still these insights. So insights are a way of seeing things in a way that you've never seen before. She said, I keep having these insights about my husband that I've never had. And she said, I can feel them healing me. I can feel my mind is quiet. I can feel I'm in a different feeling. And I just caught up with him this morning, and he said, the difference in my wife it's extraordinary. He said, it's been fantastic. And he said, I feel, and this nearly made me cry, actually. He said, I feel so seen. I wrote it down, and he said, I feel so seen. And he said, to feel so seen by the person I love most in the world, he said, is the biggest gift. And I thought, and he said, and we've only just begun. We've only just started. And so both of them are feeling very empowered around this, okay? And as they feel more empowered, they're generating a totally different energy. And they're excited and wanting to learn. And, as I was saying, when we feel hopeful and empowered, we literally get access to very different thinking. It is not the same thinking. It's not a more positive version of what we think, a positive spin on something. It's completely different thinking, because you're in a different reality. You have to understand that we move in and out of realities all day long, different realities around things. This is just natural and normal for a human being. We move in and out of realities all day long. And so when you have to understand, this is why hope is such a wonderful thing. A lot of us are worried about being hopeful because we I don't want to feel disappointed. I don't want to, but hope is such a fantastic place to live your life from, because a hopeful state of mind, just think about it, a state of mind that's not very hopeful versus a state of mind that's hopeful. It goes from this to this, okay? Right? And when our state of mind is out here, when it's expansive, we're more philosophical, we're more loving, we're kinder, we're compassionate, we're less defensive. And this happens naturally and organically. We're generous, we're curious, we're more lighthearted. I could just go on and on with the benefits of just those two things. Right? And that's the power of feeling hopeful. Now, think about it, a person who's in a disempowered frame of mind, are they feeling hopeful? No, not at all. All they can see is how hard this is, and they don't know what to do, and they feel stuck and fearful, right? A person who's in an empowered frame of mind, right? So disempowered, empowered, they're hopeful. And so they're now in a more loving, open frame, kinder, generous, compassionate, playful frame of mind. Just that alone has a profound impact on the quality of your life, the quality of your connection, quality of your relationships, your level of well-being. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on, right? So I want to say to this gentleman, the first thing you have to do is to feel empowered and get to a place of empowerment around this. If you're not sure how to do that, you're welcome to book a chat with me and find out more about my Relatable program, because this is everything that I teach. And I promise you, when you do that, you will feel more empowered about this. And not only that, you will feel more okay about what happens, whether it goes your way or not. And to me, that is key, right? That is absolute key. Hey, Carly. Hi. Nice to see you here, darling. Really nice to see you. Hello. Hi, Faye. Hello to you too. Oh my goodness, Rick. Hi, Rick Bobby. Hi, Rick. Nice to have you here. Hello. And beautiful Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Hello, honey. So that's the first thing I want to say to this gentleman, is that You've got to get your power back. And then the other thing is, I want you to start thinking about how you want to feel and what you want to create for yourself. We don't spend enough time thinking about that at all. And again, this is why I've created a whole module about this inside of my Relatable program, because we get so focused on how we can change this, fix this, whatever, then we're not thinking about what it is we want to generate and create and what that looks like. And I mean in terms of how we want to feel. People don't think about that. And so if you're not thinking about that, you are constantly going to feel disempowered, right? Because you're looking for something else to bring that to you. Everything starts with you. You are the generator. You are the creator. You are the powerhouse. I'm telling you, and you can access that irrespective of what's going on out here. That's the key to everything, guys. I can't express this enough. Because when you feel empowered, when you know what you want to generate and create, that becomes the thing that you focus on. And then you look at what is a match for that and what isn't. And there's a whole massive conversation to be had around that. Again, these are the kinds of things we talk about inside of Relatable, because I think this is just so important. An empowered human being moves through the world in such a different way than a disempowered human being. Like, it's night and day. And not only the way they move through the world, the way they meet life, especially when things don't go their way, the way they generate connection, the way they listen, right? The way they get over the knocks and bumps of life, because there's plenty of those, right? The way they forgive themselves and others. I mean, the way they communicate, the way they're able to move forward and be in the now versus dragging the past with them, all of that stuff. So this is the key. When you understand that, everything will change. You know, this lovely couple that I was just telling you about, they said to me, you know, Fiona, we've studied and learned so many things, and we found them really helpful, but we still hadn't got to where we wanted to go. And then she said, I started listening to you and I went, this woman knows something. She knows something. Now, I'm not saying I know something that lots of people don't already know. I'm not trying to position myself that way. But, you know, when you hear something that resonates, it's slightly different, and you go, there's something about that. And she said, I knew you knew something that I needed to know. And I thought that was just beautiful, right? And she said, and I can see it now. I'm learning it. I can't get enough of it, because it's just having an enormous impact on how I'm processing things, right? How we process things is everything. It really is. Teenage relationships are maybe harder than marriage relationships. They can be. This is why I say, Carly, having raised 4 teenagers, I'm on my last one now. You need to have a thick skin. You need to have a sense of humor, and you need to be able to get over yourself. That's the key. Seriously. A parent that has a thick skin, has a sense of humor, and can get over themselves will find dealing with and navigating the whole journey of teenagers so differently to a parent that doesn't have a thick skin, that doesn't know how to get over themselves, and doesn't have a sense of humor. It's night and day. Night and day. Hi, Danielle. Hello. Sorry I'm late meeting. Oh, no worries, honey. You're welcome. You're welcome. Great to have you here. Hi, Jody. Oh, thank you, honey. And you've been on my mind too, Jody. Seriously, sending you love and hugs as well, honey. Really, I really mean that. Sending you love and hugs. Okay, so I hope that helps with this first question. So for this gentleman, you have got to move through this from a sense of empowerment, and you're not there. I can tell from what you've said, and that's okay. I'm not, but that's the first thing. And secondly, you've got to think about what it is you want to generate and create, and then we'll start living from that place. That will change the way you are navigating this with your wife, and it is the greatest way of evoking something different in someone else. Does that make sense? Or in a situation. It's so powerful. I cannot express that enough. Okay, next question. Hello, I'm wanting to ask a question for my partner to help her gain some clarity around a problem she has with her thinking. When she texts someone, more in particular with family, myself as her partner or boss at work, if they don't respond, especially after sending a few texts in order to get a response, or if she says something that causes conflict and there is disconnect for a few hours, Her mind goes into worst case scenario and thinks that she's done something wrong or that the relationship is going to end. This is a current realization she has, but you'd like my insights into this. Okay. I think the first thing to remember, because often when we have someone in our lives, whether it be our partner or our child or whoever, we listen to these things through a lens of, I've got to fix this. Okay. So if you're listening to this through a lens of this needs fixing, that has to change energetically in you, right? Because nothing and no one needs fixing. And coming from this with a fix-it mindset, we'll have this person not feel heard and understood. Okay. And we'll have them kind of feel like they're doing something wrong or something. It'll create defensiveness of some description. Okay. So you've got to see that nobody needs fixing. So even though, and I say this because you said here, I want to help her gain some clarity around a problem she has with her thinking. So you think that she has a problem with her thinking, right? And even just that leads me to think, okay, then if you think someone has a problem, you're going to come in from how can I fix this, all right, versus how can I understand this? And they're two very, very different things energetically to bring to something with someone, right? Has anyone ever noticed when you come in and you try and fix someone, it never goes well, does it? People get defensive because I know people don't mean to do this, right? This is a very innocent thing. But when you come in with, I need to fix this, your intentions are pure and good. You love that person. You want them to feel better. You don't want them to be stressing about something like this, right? You want to help them. I totally understand that. But when we come in from I'm a fix it, I've got to fix this space, what you kind of energetically portraying without meaning to is this person isn't enough. That there's something in them that's not right, that they're doing something wrong, right? And I know you don't mean to. You don't mean to, but that is what we are projecting. And you have to understand with human beings, the three greatest fears of every human being is a fear of not being enough, a fear of not belonging, and a fear of not being loved. These are the three great fears that human beings have at their core. Fear of not being enough, a fear of not being loved, and a fear of not belonging. All right. And so this is why our energy matters so much. I cannot express this enough, because if you come from a desperate, needy energy, or you come from a fix-it energy, or you come from a judgmental energy, or you come from any of those things, you will trigger, right, one of those things or all of those things in someone, and they won't even realize that's what's going on, right? It's amazing how that happens. And these are shared kind of universal fears that human beings have. So you've got to be able to come at this, and everything I teach and Relatable will help you with that. If you're like, how do I do that? Because your ability to come at something from a place of understanding and being present with someone rather than trying to fix it, change it, make it better for them will help enormously. Because as you know, people change when people are ready to change. You can't force that in a human being, okay? You can't. People don't need rescuing. People don't need saving. People don't need fixing. That's not our job. I promise you that. It's not our job. And even though you might think it's a way of showing love, it's not really, because what you're actually saying to that person is, can you hurry up and feel better so I can relax? Can you hurry up and sort of get that sorted so I can be okay? That'd be great. That's what we're saying without realizing that's what we're saying. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is you need to make sure that you're coming at this from a place of understanding, and this is true of any relationship. So very important with our teenagers. Don't come at them from a fix it. All right. Do not. Worst thing you can do, mum and dad, is try and fix your teenager, because number one, bless them all, and I love my children. But as teenagers, they go through a very egocentric stage where they know everything. They don't need your help. They've got it all sorted. I had this yesterday with my daughter. I'd bought some chaff because we'd run out of chaff, and we were racing to get to this show jumping arena to have a practice go before it got dark, because it's getting dark early here. And the scissors, it's always the way, I don't know who it is, you must you got to have at least 10 pairs of scissors in a tack room. You really do, because they just get, I don't know what happens, that someone takes them and they disappear with them. So scissors have disappeared. We're trying to open this bag of chaff, and she's getting stressed, and I'm trying to hook the float up. And I said, do you want me to help you with this? No, I can do this on my own, Mum. I'm like, right, okay, fine, okay, you do it on your own. An enormous 25-kilo bag of chaff that you're trying to lift up in the air, that's half open, tip it into the bin, which is taller than her. I mean, yeah, no worries, you got that. Of course, next minute I hear this scream, or not scream, but kind of swearing, slamming of drums, and of course the chaff has tipped over everywhere. So I could have easily come in there with the I told you so, but I didn't. It was very tempting. I just ran in and said, do you want some help? Let's do this together. So again, that's an example of me getting over myself and staying calm, coming in, saying, okay, honey, let's do this together. Because teenagers, bless their souls, bless their cotton socks, but they're very egocentric. I know everything. I don't need your help. I've got this sorted. And so you really have to meet them from a place of, I'm here to listen and I'm here to understand, but I'm not here to tell you what to do, save it, fix it, worst thing you can do, all right? If you want to build trust with your teenager, the way you meet them when they want to share with you is very, very, very important, okay? Super, super, super important. So coming back to this question, you've got to stop seeing this as a problem and just get curious with this person. So a way of getting curious might be, for example, if you have permission in a conversation, right? Again, if you don't have permission, don't do this, right? You've got to make sure you've got permission for this. We assume permission in conversations when we don't have it. Permissions to give our opinion, permissions to fix this, permission, right? We assume permission a lot, all right? And that's also a mistake. So make sure you got permission, but just say, do you want my help with this, or you just want me to listen, or how do you want to feel around this? And get them to start being more reflective and thinking about what it is they want to do around that, right? Because that's how they can feel empowered. And as someone who's helping someone deal with a problem, you want to make sure that you're helping them in a way, or coming from a space where they feel empowered about it, not disempowered. And again, coming from that fixing space will have someone feel very disempowered. Jody, hey, Rick. Hi. Thank you for your lovely words, Rick. It's always a pleasure to see you. Rick is the most gorgeous guy. Just a beautiful, beautiful soul. So many beautiful souls that I have in my life. I'm very, very lucky. Jody, hubby likes to try to dictate how I am and showing up. I was wanting to explain this concept you're talking about. This is perfect. Okay, well, yeah, feel free, if he's open to it, to showing him or sharing this video with him if he's open to it. Okay, all right, everybody. Well, I've got to go because my daughter has just messaged me to say, Mum, I'm about to walk the course. Where are you? So I'm like, okay, I'm coming. I will put a link for those of you who want to, if you'd like to book a chat with me around knowing more about Relatable and finding a bit more about it, you're very, very welcome to do that. Here is the link to do that. So I'll pop that in the chat below. If you do have a question or comment or anything that you want to share, if you're watching this on replay, let me know. Please say #replay. And if you ever want to know when I'm going live, follow me, subscribe to me on YouTube, because then you'll get a notification, or you can follow me on Facebook. You'll get a notification to let you know that I'm live. And if you've got a question, send it to hello@fionalukeis.com.au. And finally, if you have bought a copy of my book, Funny Little Human, Transform the Way You See Yourself and the Ones You Love, and you've left me a review on Amazon, send us an email with a screenshot and we will send you a free meditation. Okay, thank you, everybody. Sending you all lots and lots of love. So good to see you all. Have a great weekend. Ciao, ciao.